the Volibear knockup, and he's just going to go down to Vayne. Luru is here. They're going to trade it 2-for-1 so far in terms of, or for Pandas with hats, but Vayne is ulted. She is still ready. Antunes with the hook onto Hughes. It is going to trade with Voltic Penguin taking out Thresh, but oh my god, Vayne with the flash.
Yeah, absolutely. Now this hook is going to land.
Antunes with the hook, condemning Hughes away though. He is gonna go right into Dax's arms, pick him up, and that's gonna be 2 kills in the mid lane. Get hooked by Antunes is gonna go down to Luru instantly. Saya's Feather Calling is not going to pick up anyone. She's gonna have to flash heal out. Dax disabling both towers. That's gonna be a double kill for Vayne. Luru going ham. She's going for 3. Hughes with the triple kill. Luru is going ham. Voltic Penguin is gonna go down as well. That is a quadra kill and an ace. Welcome back to Friend or Foe Esports, everybody. Week 3, day 1 of our Helios League. And after a great start to the night, we're diving straight into game number 2. Taking the blue side, we have New Wave Tsunami, and on the red side, we have Art of War Esports. With both of these teams sitting at 0-4, this is a very exciting game. One of these teams is taking home a win after this game. They're going to be on the board. Bringing you the voices behind game number 2 tonight, my name is Whirler, and casting alongside me this game, my partner in crime, we have Lolo.
Well, I'm here. I did get diffed a little bit by the daylight savings because it's 2 weeks later in the UK, but that doesn't matter. We're here now, and as you said, this is a very important game because someone's getting a dub.
Someone is indeed. Go on.
And someone's getting an MVP as well. But both of these teams have plenty of players deserving of the MVP right now. I'm looking at players like Slowbro, Give Me a Reset. Those are the players I want to be seeing, putting work in this game. Someone is getting on the board. And we are seeing already some bans coming out, which are particularly the Quinn there. That's targeting Slowbro. Does look like Give Me a Reset. As I said, both of these guys, they know who their star players are on both sides, and that's who they're targeting.
It is very true. I haven't seen a Quinn ban ever, so that's a very cool ban. I know you mentioned Slowbro was a powerhouse up in this top lane, and a little bit of a respect ban being thrown towards him. A lot of respect bans in this top lane in this split.
Absolutely, and so far, like Slowbro, to plug because I'm sure we talked a little bit about FOF Connect. Go read FOF Connect. It is where you can get all of the the news about what's been happening and the recaps and everything. But I was fortunate enough to be part of the power rankings, and we were talking about the anime equivalents of top laners in the league. Now, Champion Red, and we all know Champion Red, right? The the Giga Chad, the god of top lane currently in the league, 4-0 on UB so far, absolutely cracked. He said that Slowbro is his blue, the blue to his red. So he thinks this guy is his rival in the league.
Oh my God.
That says a lot, right? So anyway, moving into the picks, and they are doing it fairly quickly. We are going to be seeing priority given, again, to Give Me a Reset. We, last week, didn't we, Whirler? We saw this guy almost pull out some 1v9 performances on the Zeri. So that is very exciting to see. And on the other side, it looks like we're being given some power picks towards Crimson or Eerie.
That we did. We did see an unkillable Zeri last week, and that was very, very fun to cast. I mean, calling out that this Zeri is going to die and then seeing moments later that the Zeri just gets out scotch-free is honestly the funniest thing I've ever seen. Seeing Give Me a Reset on this champion again is going to hype me up for a very fun performance. New Wave Tsunami's players are very, very fun to watch. So I'm excited to see where this is going, as Volibear is going to be picked up for pick number 2 on New Wave Tsunami.
Yes, and it does look like they are just going to be matching. I wouldn't be surprised to see a support pick come out here in response to the Nautilus. Just to note, of course, that we are seeing quite a few changes in the lineups on both sides. And this is one thing I think that we've been commenting on in terms of the strength, because these are the bottom 2 teams at the moment in terms of standings. But some of the issues I think that definitely, at least New Wave Tsunami have been having, is that we've seen a different starting roster almost every game. And particularly in the mid jungle, we've had Sunrise doing a little bit of switching between the jungle and mid. But this time she is going to be playing mid with Swifty, who's new, being moved into the jungle. So again, less data. And on the other side, Art of War, we've got Min and Yorn. These are both new players as well. So we haven't got that much data, but to begin with, it does look like it's going to be jungle, mid, and bot picked for both sides, and that means that, particularly with less data, it does look like the top lane might be the one that gets the priority on counterpick.
And with the bot lane already selected for both sides of the map, Nautilus Aphelios versus Zeri Leona. Let's talk about this one. This is a matchup that honestly can go either way, and both of these supports are super scary. What do you think?
Well, the Nautilus makes a lot of sense in response to the Zeri because it's one of the few champions that can get on top of her when she starts darting around like a fly. But of course, in the sort of isolated 2v2, I think I do give the edge to Yorn and Ariri just in terms of champions, although of course when they hit 2, it depends who hits it first, because if the Leona is such a powerhouse at 2, and though the Zeri doesn't do that much damage early, so if the Aphelios has better guns, then he can in fact win, out damage her, particularly in those early sort of 2v2 fights. In terms of skill though, I have no data on Yorn, so I can't tell you, but we've seen what we've seen from Gimme a Reset and Ollie, so in that sense, I would give it to them.
I would have to agree with this one. You're right. I haven't seen Yon yet, but I have seen Oriri. I really do like Oriri's support. I haven't seen Oriri on too much Nautilus though, so I'm excited to see this performance. And the 2v2 with Aphelios Nautilus isn't as ideal as so let's say Thresh Aphelios, but I do very much agree with your sentiment on how it easily locks down Zeri. So it's a very, very good pick in and of itself. Victor being locked in here in the mid lane, that's a good start to the second phase of the draft. Starting off strong with a very safe mid laner.
Yes, and there aren't too many counter picks to this. Of course, Sunrise, the Ahri's been taken off the table, which is what we've seen from her previously when she's been playing mid. Jace as well. Art of War are just going with what they've scouted because Valiancy, there's not that much data on him either so far. We've seen Fiora, we've seen Jace, we haven't seen much else. This is the other champion. It's Vayne and Camille are the other champions that, at least based on his profile and his stats, the other champions that he's comfortable on. The Camille, he's got a great win rate, at least in solo queue, so I am quite happy to see him pull it out here, something he's comfortable with. But they are prioritizing Slowbro, and that is very nice to see because he has been a real sort of win con for this team previously, even in some of the games where they've really struggled. So it's nice to see them giving him priority as the final pick so they can play around him.
That is very true, Slowbro. I'm excited to see how Slowbro does here tonight. If he aims to be the powerhouse that he's hyped up to be, Orianna being picked into the Victor, that's a pretty good pick for Sunrise. Also a pretty safe mid laner. Not going to be too much action going on here. And the counter pick that you speak of here, we have a Shen locked in for Slowbro. What do you feel about this matchup into Camille?
Well, of course, the Camille is able to lock down single targets, and if they are going to be putting, in terms of damage, a lot of eggs into Min and Yorn, the two new players, of course. So again, if these guys are going to be the carries for their team, we're not to know it yet. But if they can make this work with then the Shen is a good pick because Slowbro, if someone gets Hextech Ultimatum, then he's got the opportunity to get the save in with the Stand United. So it does give a little bit of kind of insurance for these big damage carries. However, just before we get into game, of course, Weller, I think in terms of the draft, there's a massive amount of engage and wombo combo opportunity. We've got ball delivery systems online. We've got a Bear. We've got a Leona who can go in. On the other side, there is Peel. There's Nautilus. There's Threat. There's Shen. There is, the Hecarim who... I mean, these are two extremely strong junglers. And I mean, we haven't seen Swifty so far, but Crims has definitely been a great playmaker for the side of Art of War. I think... we are likely to see quite a lot of action in the bot lane to begin with, and that's where I think, obviously, I want to pay attention to the top 1v1, although, with the Shen, we may not be seeing too much source early, depending on how saucy Slowbro's feeling, but definitely in the bot side, I'm looking to see these junglers moving down and making some plays early.
I'm excited to see how this game plays out too. I'm a little scared for Art of War Esports though. They are lacking a little bit of damage in their comp, but we'll see how this plays out as we head into game number 2 of the night. Looks like a 5-point start for each of the players. Who do you think is going to take this one in terms of predictions looking at their comps, Lolo?
I think looking at the comps, to be honest, I think I'll give it just to it's so hard because I really want to say it in terms of the players, right? But I think in terms of comp, actually, I'll still give it to Art of War because they have a win condition. They have two great team fighting champions and a lot of people to set it up. But in the early game, pre-6 particularly, where Slowbro, isn't necessarily yet unlocked on the map, they will have to be quite careful because I think he'll be fine in the isolated 1v1, but I think there may be some opportunity for Swifty to make some action. But with the Leona, once they're sort of level 2-3 to actually get onto Yorn and Oriri and make their life difficult. So as we can see, it is going to be topside starts for both junglers and no surprises there.
And Min is min-maxing that first strike rune so far, going for an early Q on Sunrise. And in a lane like this mid lane, it is very sustain heavy. As you see, they both started, or I always want to call it Crystalline Flask, but it's Corrupting Potion. It is a very sustain heavy lane. Taking the poke this early is going to be really bad for Sunrise. Hopefully she can come back from that taking 2 Qs already. It's so much damage or level 1 from Victor with with Min's Q and with combined with first strike getting extra gold from it as well. So far starting out with a stomp in the first wave against Sunrise.
Yep, definitely. He's happy to, trade aggressively. They both have corrupting pot and biscuits, as we know. A lot of cookies coming out. I do love a good bicky, by the way, Werler. There are a lot of bickies kicking about on the Rift right now. So we are definitely looking for early trades, of course. Probably some time warp technology sitting in the back as well, unless they're, going for some of that futures tech. But anyway, already it does look like Swifty. He's pathing down. I think he's just going to be trying to go for quite a fast clear here. And get down towards the bot side, see what happens there. As we hang on.
Oh, Riri starting off the level 2 with a hook onto Ollie. It's not going to result in anything much but poke. But still was really hyped to see. Hook from the bush, getting Leona off guard. Throwing an E a little wide. Ollie was definitely a little jumpy after that one.
I don't think we noted it, but actually, Swifty's quite heavily ahead on clear because I'm pretty sure Valiancy did offer him a leash early on as that's a bit of trading up in the top side. Nothing too scary, of course.
Valiancy trading back the taunt from Slowbro evens out. Nothing going on too much just yet. But in the early game, we're seeing Slowbro on the Shen into Camille with a CS lead so far. How do you feel about that? I mean, there is still a few more minions for Camille to pick up to even that out. But it should, with the amount of minions that I see, it should amount to be, it's going to be even more now that Valiancy takes another taunt. Hook shots back into Slowbro. Is going to take a beefy trade now. Picks up the cannon with that W. Should amount to actually be on par with Slowbro, so not too much of a CS lead, but the pressure coming from Slowbro is insane so far.
Well, Slowbro gets the push because, as I was going to say, I think Valiancy did offer the leash to Swifty, which is why he's already ahead of camp on clear. That gave Slowbro the opportunity to push for the level 2, and Shen does a lot of percent health damage early. Hang on, we'll hold the thought.
Oh, no, we're going to hold the thought as Oriri is going to hook the wall, Spider-Man on out of there. But as you were saying, Swifty does have an early clear advantage on Crims and is able to get to the bot lane first, apply some pressure, taking a recall. But that's not to the knowledge of AWE just yet, as they're still pushed up in this bot lane. They're really betting on this Hecarim being around in case Volibear stuck around. But they do have good vision, denying Volibear entry in that. So he's just going to recall, take his first back, and head back onto the map.
If you look at the itemization and summoner spells for Yorn and Ariri, then they definitely were looking for the all-in early because we've got the Doran's Blade, which is isolated. It's not. It obviously taking the longsword does mean that you get to your first spike item. Normally something like a Noon Quiver, maybe a half-bound axe for Zeri. But if you take the Doran's Blade, because the item in isolation isn't that good, but it does allow you to win all-ins early, and that with that exhaust as well, it does look like.
There's going to be a gank coming out from Crims. Ollie did go for the Zenith Blade onto Oriri. They're just going to disengage that walk back under tower. Crims is not going to get anything out of that gank. And Swifty up into the top lane is able to get some pressure now that Crims is off the map. Is going to go into Crims' jungle and try to snuff out what he can take. It's going to look like it's going to be some chicken nuggets.
It does look like he's going to be putting a bit of just having a little look there at Min, seeing if there's not much opportunity, of course, because the gravity field is there. But yes, with Crims showing on the bot side, they are going to be putting some quite aggressive vision down into the top side jungle. Slowbro, of course, they did get the bounce on the wave, and that has allowed Valiancy actually to get a crash off, or at least get himself a recall pretty free of charge. That's going to be very nice for him. He's now got his Sheen on deck. Slowbro, once he's got 6, of course, he can just take the recall and try to make a play somewhere on the map. That's something the Shen is very capable of doing. But he is now going to have to watch out because he was having great trades early on now, but he will lose if he tries to fight Valiancy in this 1v1 at the moment.
Crims is able to snuff out one of the 2 pink wards hidden in his jungle. Will he be able to find that one behind his red buff? Don't know, but as Riri gets on to give me a reset, is in a little bit of trouble. Yon has a root as well, is able to lock her down. The dragon getting an auto win on that one, and that's going to be first blood traded over to Yon for free, and it's going to start the dragon for them as well. Let's see if they're actually going to commit to that one. as Slowbro does have 6. That is another added pressure for the team. As we all know, TP is a little nerfed now, not able to get onto other sides of the map that easily in the early game. Shen is one of those champions that still has access to the rest of the map pre 14 minutes. So with Shen's 6 online, it's going to be very, very good for AWE to pressure this map really, really well as they secure the first Hex Dragon of the game.
They are going to secure the first Hex Dragon. Still a bit of a head scratcher there as to why Gimme the Reset was caught out in that position, but that is exactly what Art of War are going to be looking for, because that's given Yorn a kill, so he can get a reset off now, and he's going to be coming back with a big item advantage. Slowbro, in the meantime, did get his reset off, as you mentioned. He's come back. He's got Stand United online, so if something was to happen there with Swifty attempting, that he could have matched it. But for the time being, I think he's quite happy now. He will be able to match trades, quite comfortably. And overall, yeah, that's a great start for Art of War. They are going to build themselves just a little bit of a lead with that first Drake. And so far, the early game just about going their way. It's not a lot yet, though, and I will be interested to see whether either of these mid laners, because at the moment they've just been trading waves. There hasn't been much of a rotation or anything much from them, and whether one of them decides to go for a shove and a roam, particularly now that Sunrise has a little bit of a timer.
Very true. In the top lane, it looks like Slowbro is going to be going for another taunt. It's going to go wide, traded with Valiancy's W. Not going to be too much happening after that one. Valiancy taking a little bit of damage. Sunfire Cape, really good item up in the top lane. Grasp auto attacks are just insane. Sunfire Cape is honestly one of the better items now in the top lane, especially after the new items from last year. The fact that it gives both armor and MR is one of the coolest things in my book. It just gives so much stats. And when I say Sunfire Cape, I mean the other 2 items that also build from the Bomby Cinder as well. They all give both hybrid tank stats. And give me a reset. It's going to get walked on up under his tower. Oriri's forced to flash out of tower range. Give me a reset.
Wow.
Taking very low. The hook auto from Oriri is going to pick him up. And they're going to be able to walk out of that one scot-free. 2 deaths for Give Me a Reset. That's got to feel bad for him.
He played that as well as he possibly could have done. Huge amount of pressure there. Tries to buy as much time as possible. But actually, yes, that was very nicely executed from the side of Oriri and Yorn. Neither of them go down. They juggle the turret pressure quite admirably. Yes, Oriri does end up taking the kill, but they have denied a huge amount of CS now to Give Me a Reset, and are going to get some plates onto Aphelios, who's got the guns to do it. So that's looking very nice for them. On the other side, a Herald was traded, so a bit of cross-mapping. We'll see where Swifty decides to put this.
And Slowbro going in front of the taunt trade is a level down, but he does not care. He's doing Valiancy very dirty with these trades, and I don't think it's very well respected with Swifty off to the side. Valiancy getting a good auto back onto Slowbro. He's not gonna, or Swifty's not gonna go for the gank. The wave is pushing. Oh, he's coming right back, actually. Rift Herald is on Swifty. They're going to look to make a play up in the top lane. He's going to get bounced back by Camille's Hextech Ultimatum, and that is going to be a flash from Slowbro. The ultimate from Volibear isn't going to secure anything. They backed off a little too early. They're forced to bust the flash out of Valiancy to pick that one back up, but they do secure it. They do receive the punishment. Slowbro has gone down on the top lane to the dive, and Swifty is making his way back.
I think NWT will be extremely happy with that one. Yes, hold on.
Oh, there's more. But wait, there's more. Riri going for a hook onto Ollie, going to take half his HP and walk out. Meanwhile, Crim's going over the wall. Sunrise, she's in a bit of a pickle, forced to flash over the wall. It does get out safely. That was really close. There's a lot going on this map.
So I was about to say that no cross map had happened for the side of Art of War, which meant NWT would be quite happy. They've managed to give Valiancy a kill, so he's now got definitely the item advantage up here in the top lane. And whilst they did try to make something happen there on the bot side, they get Sunrise's flash, so she's summonerless now. She's got to be very, very careful in this lane because Crims, he's got Ghost online. The Onslaught of Shadows doesn't have too long a cooldown, so that's why, as you can see, Swifty's hovering here because he knows we might get a repeat gank. Hold on.
Min is out of mana.
Ooh.
Almost got caught out there with the ulti. The shockwave did not connect, though. Forced the flash out of Min. That's a trade I think Sunrise will take, though. Taunt onto Camille. Didn't pre-charge the Q. The Q does go down from Valiancy. Does take a good trade. Slowbro gets a good wave here, but unfortunately, Slowbro won't be able to hold that too long with Sunfire Cape.
For sure. I mean, I think Art of War really are just kind of they're allowing NWT to get back into the game because they built themselves a bit of an advantage after that nice bot lane dive. See, look, now the trades are finally going Valiancy's favor.
There you go.
And after that dive in the bot side, they had built themselves an advantage. But with this dive, which it was labored because Slowbro is very tanky with that Barmy Cinder, but they got it off. They've gotten Valiancy an item lead. They are now. They're going to put themselves on for this second Drake, and there's no response. There's no Herald, and so Crims is going to try to make something happen here on the top side. But yeah, macro-wise, this is definitely good stuff from NWT. They are building themselves back some little bit of advantages after that early lead from Art of War.
And Swifty is on the flip side of the bot lane, ready to ulti over. Does have flash accessible as well. Isn't going to force anything in the bot lane, as Yan Yan and Oriri are going to take a recall. Swifty is headed back up into the jungle. Not too much for Swifty to do on the map. There's the top lane fight going on, and Hecarim and Min are here for the fight. Camille is going to get 3-man. Onslaught of Shadows over the wall is going to be able to pick up Valiancy very cleanly. They're going to trade that in the mid lane, though, with a Rift Herald. Good call out from NWT to respond quickly to that. They should be able to take that with Rift, as AWE lose priority on the first tower. Will Oriri be able to ward them off the tower? They will be able to. They're going to take that trade. More plates on the side of NWT in that trade.
But also, and if you look in the bot side now, Yornion's been pushed off the tower because his support was roaming. So Gimme a Reset's been given a free shove. I don't know if he was able to get some plates down in the bot side, but nevertheless, he's getting a recall off as well. So yes, that play, it cost 3 members to take down Valiancy. They do manage to get some plates up there on the top side. But a great response once again from NWT. They get the Herald, they get the Crash, they get some gold onto Sunrise. And now Valiancy, after soaking up that pressure, he's got his Divine Sunder on deck. So once again, he is going to continue to win out if he plays it correctly against Slowbro because of the item advantage. So now it does look like Art of War have realized they're going to have to force a little bit to get themselves back the lead. Ooh.
Look at how much AWE has conditioned Gimme a Reset to respect these types of plays. Or giving up an entire wave under tower to respect the fact that 4 members could and were in the bot side of the map is very scary for Gimme a Reset. It's denied so much ability to play this game, and a snipe from the ulti from Yan Yan picks up Sunrise. That was very well executed coming out from Aphelios, and that's going to pick up a second kill for the Emo AD carry.
Yep, that's exactly what they weren't respecting, just how much damage that the Moonlight Vigil could come out. They're going to play another.
And more CC coming out from AWE is going to force the flash out of Ollie. No kill just yet. Gimme a Reset, getting as much poke on a Riri while the hook is down. But with 3 members down in this bot lane, Crim's off to the side if needed. It's very pressuring all over the map so far on AWE's side. They are just giving them a run for their money. But Swifty up in the top side of the map is doing the same for Slowbro. Hook shot is going to go wide. Slowbro is able to get out, but he's in a Hextech ultimatum right now. He doesn't, or he does have the flash, but he opts to use it at the very last second.
Oh my
Barely
god.
going to be able to get out. Flash all from Swifty. It's going to slow him enough for Valiancy to Sheen auto him and take him out. So close from Slowbro getting out of that, but both flashes expended from the top jungle of blue side are going to pick him up.
Once again, forced dives are happening on both sides of the map. A lot of cross mapping, and the poor person stuck under tower is doing all they can. Credit to Slowbro. Hang on.
KO Force on the Sunrise. Sunrise already back in the action, gets a 2-man shockwave with a W, pokes him right back. That was very aggressive from Yan Yan, but you know what? I respect it. Sunrise on her toes right now.
Of course, and Swifty, I think he's going to be able to get the crab, but they do have Art of War have first dibs on this second Herald of the game. They have vision control, even just they have choke point control. Of course, the scuttle was taken, but nevertheless, I'm not sure if NWT want to contest this.
It's a little risky. All the ultis are available, including Shen, who isn't too far anyway. Swifty taking a hook. Onslaught of Shadows going down. Solar Flare is going to take out very quickly, but a TP from Victor is going to get him into the fight pretty quickly. It's going to be NWT, though, storming out this fight with 3 down so far after Yan Yan goes down. If Yan Yan goes down, that's going to be a shutdown. Traded by nobody just yet. It's so far, it's 2v5. Min flashing out. Going to trade Swifty. Zanya's, that's going to inevitably delay his death as Gimme a Reset will pick that one up. Slow Bro left to fend for himself. He's like Skarner in this situation because all of his kind are dead.
Slowbro uses the stand united on a Riri and it gets cancelled because Riri gets bursted so quickly. That is absolutely that's tragic for our war because we hadn't seen a stand united all game. And if he was in the fight, Slowbro might have been able to make something happen there. But as it stands, I said NWT might not want to contest that. I hold my hands up and say I was wrong. They go in, they have the huge engage with this composition, even with the shockwave down. You know, we've got the Leona, we've got the Volley Bear. They can go in, they can make plays happen. And they do. And of course, Gimme a Reset. He comes a little bit late to the party, but he's Zeri. He's cleanup crew. And on top of that, they do manage to they managed to get themselves some kills on the board, build themselves a bit of a lead. But with those resets coming off, Art of War are going to be able to take a second Drake.
It's going to be the second Cloud Drake, or the second Dragon, which will be Cloud Drake going over to AWE. Third Dragon of the game. Dragon's going a lot faster than game number 1, that's for sure. Rift Herald, Shelly's still on the map, and they're going to make a play over here as well. It could be responded by AWE, and they have their cooldowns coming back up very shortly. I think it will go uncontested, but let's see if AWE does anything after the fact, and where NWT will go with the second Shelly.
Well, with the Herald having been taken, it does look like Yon and Oriri are going to realize they've got a little bit of breathing room to go and finally take that bot tier 1. On the other side of the map, we'll see where NWT do elect to stick this Herald, because the mid tier 1's already down. I think it would be most expedient, to be honest, either to drop it, up here in the top side and give Valiancy a bit of room to continue to side lane, because he's looking pretty big after that previous fight. He's definitely getting he's definitely got that ability to side lane. Yes, he can be matched, but nevertheless, if they do get that top tier 1 down, it will give him a little bit of freedom. He can go and just try to make more plays around the map. But
Riri.
Hang on.
Riri off to the side, Hex flashing over. Gimme a Reset's going to take the ultimate, trying to get away from it as he can. Crims is going to ulti on him, but Gimme a Reset's going to be fine. Swifty with the ulti onto 2 is going to try to give him as much HP as possible, but Ollie's going to be following his death as well. Riri and Yon go down as well. NWT are going to be picking this up with a triple kill on Gimme a Reset. Very, very well traded from NWT. Only 2 for 3 so far, and they get Prio on the mid lane. Sadly, their Rift Herald holder did go down, though, so they can't really press forward that much anymore. But let's get a replay on this, Lolo.
Let's get a replay. So it does look all pretty decent for AWT to start with. They are going to be coming in, there's big force once again, and they've got a minion advantage. They can go in for the dive, but the sustained damage isn't necessarily there. The gravity field buys quite a lot of time. And look at Swifty here. He's trying to make something happen with the bear. Just doesn't quite work out necessarily for him. But here in comes Gimme a Reset. And sustained damage there. Art of War try to make that play happen, but the carries just don't have the same level of damage necessarily. Than even with the space control from the gravity field, and they just get split up, and Gimme a Reset comes back in. He says, "Thank you very much." He's now huge.
That was actually very well played from Swifty. Because of Gimme a Reset getting locked down at the beginning of that fight, Swifty played so far forward that Yon and Min could not respond with damage onto Gimme a Reset. And that's the problem with AWE's comp, is that the champions like Nautilus and Hecarim don't have enough damage to really burst Zeri down, even with all that lockdown. And they just gave up on her after blowing 2 ultimates on her, which was really good for NWT.
It was. This is looking like a repeat performance of the previous week, but this time the team isn't behind, and Gimme a Reset's fed again. Yeah, so
Gimme a Reset's getting out of these fights alive, but not in the way that we've seen before. Actually, in a very different and more pleasing way, seeing NWT taking these team fights for themselves.
Indeed, yeah. It's really. I think still, it's not a particularly huge lead yet that NWT have. We can see, of course, that their key the Camille and the Zeri are now very far ahead. However, Min is still big. He's almost got his second item on deck, similar to Yon. So if they can try to get on top of the Zeri, that would definitely help them. As you said, it's quite difficult for them to do it, but if they chain their CC correctly. We do have a Taunt, we have an Onslaught of Shadows, we have crucially a Depth Charge, which is one of the things that she can't, sidestep eventually. So I think that's going to have to be their target in this next fight. But for the time being, there is another dragon available. No team is going to be moving towards it yet. It would be nice for Art of War to be able to get that soul point, even if it is only Cloud. So for the time being, does look like we're just going to be seeing a bit more side laning. Slowbro, he's got both of his key cooldowns available to enter into the fight. Valiancy and Sunrise do not have TP, so if Art of War want to make a play now, they do have a window because they have double TP advantage and they stand united.
This is very true. There is a lot of map pressure coming out on the side of AWE that they still have. This still is a very close game with only 1,000 gold discrepancy so far on the board. With that being said, Dragon coming up in a minute. We have a lot of valuable cooldowns that are coming back on for NWT, but from the side of AWE, they have all they need to contest this Dragon. They have every single cooldown active so far.
They do, and they have full control of the river. They're going to be able to clear out that pink ward as well. So there is a bit of vision from the Scuttle, but nevertheless, they've got control of the choke points, and that's crucial because their comp has massive amounts of engage. Oh my god!
And they're starting off with a bang. Swifty going into 4, tanking up a storm. Ulti is going to be blown on him like no other. He's going to get out almost alive. Flash from Slowbro is going to pick him up. Meanwhile, Gimme a Reset's DPSing as much as he can. Slowbro is going to trade with that. Ollie's going to pick it up with the Zenith Blade, but the shock blade, or the shock damage from Zerial is so apparent, and Ollie gonna be picking himself up a double kill. Zenith Blade going a little wide. Wow, that was very well played from NWT to get themselves so far ahead, and with Dragon coming up, this should be uncontested.
Can I just say to begin with, how fast was that bear moving? That's terrifying. You see a bear running at you that quickly, he just jumps on you with his freaking, massive ball of thunder. Anyway, that to start things off, there wasn't the immediate follow-up from the shockwave because he was just too quick, but nevertheless, once again, Gimme a Reset's given free reign to shoot, and there is damage follow-up, whereas Yorn, he was basically untouched, but he just wasn't able to return the same amount of DPS. So with the health bars low, there are only a couple of kills coming out for NWT, but they do manage to pick themselves up a second Drake, and that's going to be very nice for them. It denies the soul point. And again, this comp, when you asked me about the comp, Swirler, we were aware of the amount of engage. I thought Art of War would be able to play around it with the peel that they have, but at the moment, they're not managing to do it.
They don't have the damage to really back it up, and at the beginning of that fight, they blew all of their Zeri ultimates that they should be saving for her on the Volibear when he dived in.
Yes.
All of them, from Nautilus Ult to Hecarim Ult to even Victor Ult, because that is the peak of their damage, is Victor right now, and then their peak of DPS is going to be the Aphelios. It is very crucial to be able to use those on the targets they're meant for, especially with their comp, because they don't have much room for error when it comes to stuff like that. If Volibear gets in and you're focusing on them, NWT is just going to sustain you out so hard with the amount of damage that they're still able to have on you. With that being said, though, the map is pretty reset. The map is pretty even still. Even after these fights from NWT, AWE are still keeping a pretty even score in terms of the entire game in general, and this could still go both ways if AWE are able to get the fight they want.
Crucially, I mean, we see no bounties, so that really does tell them. Obviously, we can see the gold lead, but both of these teams can be aware of it because there are no bounties up so far. We can see it's very close. Turret count is even. Obviously, the Drakes are even. If we look at the itemization, by the way, we do see that Gimme a Reset and Sunrise are both sitting on 2 items. In fact, everyone's sitting on 2 items on the side of NWT. Hold on.
And once again, Min Min is caught out by everyone. Slowbro with the ulti to try to turn things around, but TP's coming all around. That's going to be Valiancy coming into the fight as well, and that's all 5 members versus all 4 members of AWE. And Shen's going to try to get out alive, knowing Min Min is just screwed at this point. But Ollie slowing them down, preventing them from escaping. Valiancy following up with a hook shot. Gimme a Reset's going to pick them up, and they're just going to go down instantly. That's going to be 4 people. AWE do not have enough damage to match NWE. They were just on a timer all along, and Gimme a Reset with all this damage is really kicking them out. Crims, they're going to respect the fact that the jungler is still alive and opt to not Baron 5v1.
No, they are actually going to leave off the Baron. Instead, they're just going to go for the push. Going back, Ollie smurfed that so hard. Like, beautiful two-man solar flare. They gets on top of them and then just continues to run them down with all of the CC Leona has in that choke point. They both and that allows Gimme a Reset to continue free firing. So they get shredded, and there's no response from AW again. The Stan United keeps Min alive, but Slowbro is not tanky enough on his own, particularly against the amount of damage that NWT have to take all of that and live. So again, just the macro play from NWT, it seems to be superior time and again so far in this game. AWE have forced dives. They've tried to force some fights, but overall they're getting a little bit played. And even though they've got those, that global pressure we talked about, they're not they're not capitalizing on it. And with the amount of engage in CC that NWT have, they'll say, sure, if we get a pick, we'll take it in seconds.
I'm still questioning the fact that they called off the Baron 5v1, but they do need to have a way to have a substantial lead against AWE, because despite the fact that AWE doesn't have that much damage, they are a respectably tanky comp. Excuse me for trying to word that. AWE taking a little bit of river control, going to take out the control ward. They really need to have some form of like a far lead to really close this game out, because at this rate, it's just ping-ponging.
Yeah, I mean, on the Baron, you make a very good point, Will. I would say that one of the main things that called it off was if they're aware that Crims is alive, then there is the burger flip opportunity. He always has the opportunity to unstoppable onslaught of shadows over the wall. Or do it there.
Speaking of which, that's going to be blown on Sunrise. She's going to tank that one straight to the face. Ollie in the middle of 3 right now. Good shockwave to keep them all together, but Ollie does not take enough damage to really be taken down. Speaking of damage, Gimme a Reset coming in. Riri does not have a shot in heck to get out of that one. Min going to get slowed. Gimme a Reset wants more. But unfortunately, the Zeri is not going to be able to get it. They could pick up another free kill. They pick up Soul Point for NWT so far, 1 away, 27 minutes. It's still pretty close. They only gave up 1, but they're actually going to start this Dragon with 2 people resetting. And my bad, not Dragon, Baron. They're going to get the Nash. Is it going to be contested though? They're trying to get there as fast as they can. They're going to start it. Do they have enough to really burst it down? And they're going to burger flip it anyway with Krim still alive.
They are. They can see him. He's going to go for it anyway, but he's going to get warded off.
As much as he can. He doesn't know how low it is just yet. 3k so far. It's getting really close. He's got to make a guess. The good victory to give him the vision. Does not have enough information to go for it, though. Completely dark for Crims. And they were worried for all for nothing as they take a Baron for free and get out alive in the meantime.
NWT, I really respect the way they're playing. Well, I really do, because let's remind ourselves that both of these teams are 0-4. One of them wants that dub, and they want it badly. And so the NWT are taking as little risks as possible, and they're taking fights they know they can win, plays they know are going to go in their favor. With all of them available, no one needing resets for big buys. They play on the Baron, fantastic space control. Crims doesn't get a sniff of that Baron at all, and they come away with it. The Valiancy can side lane forever if he wants to, because he's a chameleon. He can see more his way up to the top side.
This is the only shot they have in hell, and they're going to lock him down. He's trying to get out of the wall. He does get out alive and is able to position himself. Gimme a Reset is pumping out damage now, but Swifty will lose his life for that. Almost getting caught out. Gimme a Reset tried his best. Ollie going for the solo engage. There's no follow-up for you, buddy. Flash ulti from Ollie is going to be wasted, as Gimme a Reset does live. Very crucial to keep this champion alive. That's 1,000 gold for someone to pick up, and that was almost really bad for NWT.
It almost was. Swifty does manage to get out of the way. That's Zeri privilege right there. The Baron is available, so no push is going to happen off that pick, and no neutral objective either. So NWT, they get lucky there, because that is a bit of gold that they'll take back. But Art of War, ultimately, that pick, it doesn't really mean very much. And in the meantime, with the Baron, as we can see, Valiancy is now up there on the top side. He's very, very difficult to match at the moment because he is huge. And still NWT full control.
Alrighty, we're back at a standstill so far. All the shutdowns on NWT side are still alive. It is very, very, very close so far. And honestly, Solar Flare is coming out. They're actually going to start this one. It's not as close as I thought. With the combined with the Shockwave, Sunrise getting that one in, Onslaught of Shadows is going to get 2. Zanya's coming out, is going to trade 2 so far. Supports are down. The damage is here. Give me a reset is back. It is so unbelievably close. It is ridiculous. That was about as close as it gets, but is it over just yet? I'm not too sure. These fights are way too close.
It's just sup 1-for-1, but it doesn't matter because look at the push that's up there in the top side. Valiancy's rotating over. He could have stuck on the top inhib if he wanted, but he's just a little bit worried about the re-engage from Art of War. So instead, they're going to play it safe once again. They're going to clear out the jungle, get as many, get as much advantage as they can. No overstays at all. Min's going to go and clean up that top side, but they maintain the control of the map. Very, very safe again. They get their Baron Empowered Recall off in time, pick up some more items. Look how many items these guys are sporting right now. They're all sitting on 3, which possibly Swifty will have once he takes his base off as well. So that's going to be the Force of Nature on deck. Also, potentially, I'm not sure. Either way, it is going to look like that they all will have a big item advantage. They can see the Baron, the Drake, their soul is coming up in just a moment's time, and they're going to beeline straight for it, take full control of the river. Art of War, are they going to be able to match it?
Very true. 31 minutes. We're getting far into the late game. Any fight can really decide where this game goes, and Crims gets a good ulti on to Swifty. It's going to start everything off. Valiancy taking low as well, but a good 3-man Shockwave is going to turn it out for the better. Give me a reset is going to get the fight of his dreams as the amount of shock damage from Zeri's ultimate is able to clear so much, and they're going to be able to get an ace for NWT.
I mean, that's going to be it. Well, like, there we go. We see TPs coming up from the top side. They haven't got that much of a wave. At the very least, they are going to be able to take an inhib. I'm not sure. The respawn timers are long. They could just end through top side right now. The health bars are low, but there isn't too much risk with the amount of push that they have here.
And it looks like that they are going to be able to. Spawn timers are a little close. They have to really do it if they want it. They don't have the Baron. Nexus is the only thing left. Spawn timers are not going to be enough, and they're going to be able to take this. NWT are going to be on the board now, 1 and 4. It is amazing.
I'm so impressed with NWT. Well, they played that game really well actually. I think a lot of people would have expected Art of War because but based on the analysis we've had so far, we've said they've had unlucky games. We thought that they were going to be the ones who might finally get the dub, and we thought potentially NWT, they've looked a bit shaky in parts, but they have looked like a completely different team today. Absolutely fantastic play from them. Finally, we see that 1v9 performance we get from Gimme a Reset, who has been, having some great performances, but just hasn't had the opportunity to shine until now. Valiancy, fantastic from him. He just became a complete monster in the side lane. No one could match. Overall, just great play from them. Art of War, they've gotten unlucky again, I think. Again, a bit of a comp diff. I'm going to hold my hands up and say I'm wrong on the comp. That comp, it was easy to execute, so much engage, and NWT played it great. And very well-deserved win. They go 1 and 4.
They are indeed. Very well played from NWT to pick up their first win of the season. Stay tuned for an interview with your winners, and we will see you for game number 3 right afterwards.
Hello, folks. Chris Edgeworth here with our second interview tonight, and I'm joined by Swifty from. Damn it.
Get
Swifty.
Swifty.
That's okay. As we were talking about in the break, full disclosure, I almost called you Swiftly because that's what I wrote down without looking. So
Any variation's fine, really.
these things happen.
Yep.
Sorry, dude, but congratulations, first of all, to New Wave Tsunami on the win. You guys are in the dub column now. Talk to me about how it feels for you and for the team to finally get the monkey off your back, so to speak.
It feels really good. This is obviously my first, game with the team. I sort of stepped in last week after a message about, hey, a team that might need a jungler to step in, and I hadn't actually played in a bit. I've been playing comp amateur league for a few years, and I took a break for I don't know, a month and a half, something like that. And it wasn't until I got that message that I was like, you know what, maybe I should knock off the rust, get back in the ring, prove to myself I could still do it. So in all honesty, I was nervous coming into it just because I know that the team hadn't picked up a win yet, and I knew that I had something, to myself to prove, whether or not I still had it. So just a lot of pressure off, I think, the team's shoulders for the win, and at least for my shoulders, personally, just to know that I still have a little bit of a skill left. So.
Yeah, and you get that very coveted 100% win rate. So congrats to you.
Yeah, I haven't lost yet. This is true.
Let's talk about the game itself and this draft. So in your debut here, you're playing the Volibear, and we want to talk about the hashtag JustVoli things in a second. Overall, though, you folks you ended up with the Zeri. I've talked about it at length here on the desk. It's the trifecta right now until some effective nerfs come through. So we had the Aphelios Zeri matchup in this one. What were your thoughts generally on the draft you folks had and what you were up against?
I think we drafted for, I guess, arguably like a sort of one-dimensional comp, which is a double-edged sword, right? It's somewhat easier to execute. It's kind of a run at you, just ooga booga, sprint down, engage a team fight composition. Yeah, so I mean, it's one-dimensional in that respect, which again is a double-edged sword in the sense that it's super easy to execute, right? There's less nuance to a sort of composition like that we chose, but the other side being you only really have one angle of attack. And in a game where there's scaling on both sides, between like the Aphelios and the Victor for them, and Zeri scales pretty well, and as does Camille. Like, there's more room to be I guess played around in that sense. But I think we've been working on, at least in the past few scrims, just like sticking to game plan and making sure we don't throw anything ridiculous. And so I was comfortable with it. I knew that the Zeri it's a super strong pick right now, and as soon as we grabbed it, we felt good. We were able to, pick up some comfort picks, which is really great. It's nice that in my first game, I was able to, play a Volibear, which is, one of my favorite and more comfortable champs, I guess. So I think they may have made a few mistakes in leaving up some power picks with not the greatest responses to them. So we may have had a little bit of a breather in that respect, but yeah, I think the drafts were relatively fine for both teams, and I'm just really glad that we were able to commit 2 hours and play it like we were supposed to.
There you go. Well, let's talk about your contribution to this game on the Volibear, and I guess to start, I mean, what's up with Slowbro, man? Did he like do something personally to Valiancy or yourself? Because the early part of the game was just this bear just sprinting down to make sure this death is brought to him at any cost. So
I don't know. I mean, I may be guilty of playing towards topside more as a jungler. It could be part of it. It could be when I read the name Slowbro, I think Slowbro can't outrun a chem tank Volibear with Q and ult. So maybe that's part of it. I think also, it's really hard to play cross map against a Shen. I've been on plenty a competitive league team where you just forget that Shen's in the game, and what you think is a 3v2 bot turns into a Shen 3v3 bot in a lost fight. So
I think it may be a weakness of Shen's to play towards that side a little bit and make sure that he can't really get off the ground in cross map plays like that.
Yeah, the duality of playing with Shen's. On one hand, it's like, oh, just if Shen's gonna go to some other place, like go to the Shen then and pressure them there. But it's so you're putting the pressure on your own Shen lane. It's like, I dare you. I'm putting pressure up here. This is my lane.
Yeah,
And then on the other side of it, it's like we've also I'm pretty sure every League player has been guilty of sometime, as you say, just like being like, oh, we're gonna get this idiot, and then you just why
go,
is
go,
this
go.
gray? What's the gray on him for? And
What
then
is
you're
this shield? Did they buff shield power or something like that?
You're just
And then,
like, no, it's doomed. Yeah,
Yep, and then you get taunt flashed. So
exactly. Right on. Well, congratulations, Swifty, and to New Wave Tsunami for this big win. Before we step away, though, any final thoughts you'd like to leave with us on the desk?
First off, thank you for the congratulations. Thanks for having me here. But yeah, I think I'm really confident in this team. I haven't felt super, I haven't vibed with a team like this in a very long time right off the bat. I think this is a group of players that have a lot more in the bag than it may seem. So congrats to my team again. Thanks for having my back. And looking forward to some more dubs in the bag.
All right. Well, that's it for us, folks, for this interview. Thanks again, Swifty, for the interview. And we are going to take a short break before we come back with Game 3 of the night. So don't go anywhere.